Now we're going to continue on these PowerPoints. There are some salient points I want to actually discuss, like 2 pages PowerPoint presentation. One is on Junction Object, and another one is implication of deleting fields in Salesforce. We haven't actually discussed it. I thought I stopped. My memory could still serve me right. I stopped right at this get into this PowerPoint presentation the other time, get into this page, but we have to actually, because I saw it in the exam guide, definitely, you must know the implication of after you have some feed. Good thing that we can relate better at this point to it's you customizing or configuration, doing configuration, adding feed to a standard object, or you are even building entire new field adding into a custom object because we have been working around the different fields, building object on our own. Definitely it's going to make more sense to us at this point. And that's why I have to come back to this PowerPoint to really tell us the implications of deleting field in Salesforce. That are on this slide, I have like 10 salient real consequence that if you delete a field in Salesforce, the implications, how it's going to disrupt your reports, how it's going to cause a data loss, how it's going to impact your workflow, process builder, and at the same time your flow. Other automation process will be disrupted because most of the things you use for your to build your formulas or to configure some things to put things together and get an output would have been disrupted. When that thing happens, it's going to break your record or your reports, and then definitely you have a validation rule that depends on field as well. It's going to be disconnected because you've deleted one field. Because of that, it's not going to make your validation rule valid again. That means the function will be incorrect, and it can lead to data quality issues, definitely. And all what you're doing on Salesforce platform as an administrator is for you to as well ensure good data quality so that your company, your stakeholders can really make informed judgment at the end of the day. You need a report that can give insight at the same time actionable reports are that will really help your organizations to take steps in addressing issues or in becoming more productive within your org. Integration consideration is also there. Users experience data migration. These are consequences of deleting fields in Salesforce. With the data loss, when you delete a custom feed, all data stored in that feed for all record will be permanently lost. It can have serious consequence if the feed contains valuable information. Imagine that, because if you're having valuable information on a field, actually at the end of the day, when you want to run your report, you run your report based on the fields that you have in your org. If you delete some field, definitely it's going to disrupt the outcome of your report, and it's going to have a disrupt if that is containing valuable information. You see how the impact is really going to disrupt everything that you are trying to work out within your org. That's one of the consequences. Impact on report and dashboard, definitely it's going to disrupt your dashboard and report, because when you run your reports, you run it based on the fields that you have. You have all the columns that's going to make the report, and after that report, you build your dashboard on the reports that you're going to use. The dashboard is you use dashboard to visualize your data, to visualize your report. Now imagine when you've deleted one or two fields when on a particular or particular object that you're trying to build report on, or you're trying to visualize report by building a dashboard, definitely all those fields that you've deleted will not be available for the on the report. And what about if those fields happen to be a very good valuable field that you're supposed to have for your report? with that. And if your hug is going to work on that particular report, it's not going to really give a very good quality reports or actionable, a kind of report that can provide actionable insights at the end of the day. So those are the things that you can really the impact, how you can import reports and a dashboard. And there are some automation process within the Salesforce platform. We have workflow, we have flow as well. All those flows, when you are building using a process builder or you're using flow builder to build all those automation, deleting it can disrupt critical business process. Maybe you build a screen flow now to actually get to create record for you at the front end that the end users will be able to respond to by inputting some data or some record on it, and then they will save it within the org. When you have deleted some of these components that make, because all this feed is going to make the component that you need for your report, whenever you have deleted anyone, automatically it's going to affect your automation process. Now, approval process takes care of so many things. You need to build a email alert. You need to build email templates there before you can really build it to trigger. And there are several actions that are involved in it at the end of the day. So when you're working on the platform now, it's a must for you to master flow and approval process. Flow is very big on its own. It's really, really big, and it's very, very interesting. We have two types of flow. We have screen flow. We have auto flow. The auto flow has like different, like 4 to 5 different types. But screen flow simply means the kind of automation that your end users can actually respond to. By why the auto flow run in the background, a trigger maybe as a result of a record, as a result of an update, as a result of anything. So very interesting area in the Salesforce. It's very interesting learning objective. We've actually dealt with validation rules and triggers as well. We dealt with validation rules in this course. We build validation rule on a date that somebody should not actually input a date that is in the past. When you are dealing with dates that has to do with a project that happen to be the end date of a project should be in the future, and somebody is making mistake to enter the date in the past, validation rule will trigger to say, no, you can input a date in the past. If you want to input a date for end date, it should be a date in the future. Validation rule gets the job done for you. Now, when we were building that validation rule, what did we do? We actually used the end date and with some other operations and functions to actually build the validation rule. What about if one now delete the end date? What's going to be the impact? That means that validation rule will be invalid immediately. It's not going to trigger any longer. That is simple. That is what they mean, validation rules and trigger. Custom validation rule and trigger that reference the deleted field will be invalid and it will cease to function correctly. That's what it means. Just like the validation rule we built on our end dates. If somebody delete the end date as a field, the validation rule doesn't have that field to work on. That means it renders it invalid immediately. Integration consideration. If your Salesforce instance is integrated with other systems, deleting a field of those fields that is being integrated because you can integrate your Salesforce with an external object. There is an external object. That means you keep that object somewhere. You don't integrate them directly into your Salesforce, but there is a kind of external ID that you can use to integrate it with your platform. That if the field that is working on those external field, if it's deleted, that means the whole process is going to be disjointed, it's going to be disconnected, the connection is not going to be there, then the integration is going to be disrupted. And if it's disrupted because of you deleting one field, that's going to be the impact that whatever you want to do with that external field, it's not going to work at the end of the day. What impact does it have on users' experience? Now, like your users' experience who have been accustomed to a particular field, all of a sudden, that field is being removed from the platform. The end user is going to get confused because at all time he has been working with that field and it's no longer there. It's going to cause confusion, difficulties if the field suddenly disappear. Training and communication is always very necessary if that decision is going to be taken at the end of the day, or if for any reason a particular field must be deleted from your platform. We have data migration as well. If you decide to delete a field, you should consider data migration strategies. You might need to extract, preserve data from the field before you delete for compliance or historical purposes. That's going to be a wise decision on your part as a Salesforce administrator. Before you delete a field, why can't you export it? You can use data loader to actually export that field off from your platforms just to save it somewhere. In case if there is a need for it, you can actually restore it back for on your platform again, or for any future use at the end of the day. So it's a key thing for you to really say that if you delete a particular field, that means it's not going to be available on the platform. And then before you do that, it's wise for you to say, okay, let me just export this particular field somewhere. When you export it after, then you can come back and delete that field. Then what about field dependency? There are field dependency when you have one field depending on another field. For example, a pick list field may be used as a dependent pick list. Deleting the controlling field, now that's what we call it. That's a kind of relationship we can refer to controlling field among different pick lists. You can have two pick lists that are depending on one another. If one is deleted, then automatically that particular pick list relationship is going to be disrupted. Then deleting the controlling field could affect the dependent field. Anything that you see is depending on one particular field. And if the major one, like a parent record, is being deleted, or a parent field is being deleted, that means it's going to also affect the child's field at the end of the day. And even in most cases, it will delete the size field. Then we have custom code or script. If that now anything that has to do with custom code script, you are referring to Apex triggers and Visual Force pages. When you hear Visual Force pages or you hear Apex triggers, those are the imperative coding that has to do with developers and all those things. So it's also going to impact, it's also going to disrupt, or it's going to have consequence. If you have some field relying on the field, and if it's being disrupted, then the coding program that is already there will start showing error. There's going to be a lot of when it's triggered, there's going to be error message. You say I need to update the code to handle the removal of the field. Failure to do so can lead to runtime errors or cascading errors that will happen on the platform. It simply means if a developer has actually used different code to actually build a particular field, if that field is deleted, automatically it's going to affect the record or the programming. The program is actually done to get that field together. It's going to be disrupted at the end of the day. So if you don't want error, then the developer needs to go back and work on those deleted field, back up and restore. Take note of this aspect as well. When you delete any field in Salesforce, it's still going to be available at the recycle bin. Now, at that recycle bin now, it's going to be there for the next 15 days. After 15 days, it's going to be deleted. That means it's going to be deleted completely. So between now and 15 days, you can actually go to the recycle bin to actually restore the feedback, which I will also demonstrate to you how you can go to the recycle bin. Recycle bin is also available for your end users. It's at the lab app launcher end. It's not at the setup. You don't need to configure anything about recycle bin. It's an available tool to both end users and the developers and you as an administrator on your platform. So by the time Salesforce provide a recycle bin where deleted field can be recovered within a certain time frame. What is that time frame? The time frame is 15 days. After 15 days, it's going to be deleted completely. However, once they are permanently deleted from the recycle bin, they cannot be restored. Ensure you have a reliable backup recovery strategy to get the job done for you at the end of the day. Now, these are examples which is not necessary. I've already given you a comprehensive assignment that you're going to work on mileage trackers. And so these are kind of a custom object you can build. We're already building projects objects, and at the same time, you are as well working on assignment that has to do with mileage trackers. So let's just move to the next page. Junction objects. I haven't discussed junction object with you. We have been kind of used to two relationships, and those two relationships happen to be lookup relationship. I've demonstrated that. I've demonstrated master detail relationships at length. There is another relationship that is that needs junction object to actually work. And the third relationship I've not really mentioned is many-to-many relationship. Take note of that. Many-to-many relationship. There are hierarchical relationship. There are self-relationships like employee to employee and all those stuff. Now, we have majorly our focus in this class. We're going to be dealing with three type of relationship per se. We've been able to demonstrate the master detail relationship and master detail relationship, lookup relationship. We haven't discussed junction objects, and the junction objects must be integrated into many-to-many relationship. There is another relationship apart from master detail relationship, apart from lookup relationship, that is what we can refer to as many-to-many relationship. There is no way you will discuss junction objects without discussing many-to-many relationship, which I'm going to take one after the other. Junction object is a custom object with two master detail relationship. When we're building our custom object core project, we kind of establish relationship between the custom objects project and our accounts. We gave it a master detail relationship. Now, we also did another one for our contact. We made that one lookup relationship. You can give your object as many relationships as you need as possible. If you don't need to establish a relationship between your objects and what you are building and another object, you don't need to build the relationship. But when you want to establish that relationship, you need to consider some factors. Because if you are dealing with a master detail relationship, it has a cascading delete effect on object you are building that relationship with. Like we just did now, we established a master detail relationship between our project object and our accounts. If account is deleted, the custom object is also going to be deleted. Take note of that. We actually built a JKC LLC. If you delete JKC LLC, so far it's having a kind of master detail relationship with the project. Your intention was to delete KJC LLC immediately just because of the master detail relationship that exists between the KJC LLC and the project. Definitely, immediately as you delete the project, delete that account called KJC LLC, it's also going to delete your project. So you don't want a situation like that. And when you are trying to save a record that has a master detail relationship, it's a must. You must enter a record there. If you don't enter a record for the master, you won't be able to save the record. Just take note of that. The master detail relationship I've discussed a lot. We've actually demonstrated custom object like any other custom object in Salesforce. Junction object is a custom object that you create to store data specific to your organizational need. Definitely. Most the junction objects cannot be standard objects. Most they are always custom objects that you build in between two masters objects. So the junction object will now be at the middle to form what we can refer to as a detailed object, but it's going to have two different master as its parent. Now, let me just put it in this scenario that let's say in an organization, you let's say in a school, you want to build a record that has to do with courses, students, and enrollment. When you have students, some students will be enrolling for like multiple courses, different courses. You also have many courses for the student. So in order now to establish, let's say your course is going to be a master object, then another master object is going to be student. Then you need to now establish an enrollment that is going to be in between the two master objects. The enrollment now that is going to be in between now will establish what we call junction objects. Then you have two masters having that one custom object as their detail object. I'm still considering how I'm going to input, I'll be able to use, I'm still doing my findings, how I can build one small many-to-many relationship to demonstrate this particular discussion on junction objects or many-to-many relationship on our project. When I get through with it, I'm going to establish it to use it to demonstrate it. But what I'm trying to say, many-to-many relationship simply means one junction object will be relating to two masters or different masters like that, because there must be a custom object that is going to connect two masters together. When you now have a scenario like that, you have many-to-many relationship. Then here is a sample now, just I was trying to say that suppose you have two custom objects. You have students, you have course. A single student can enroll in multiple courses. We are all used to that. We have been through brick and mortar of institutions. Then a single course can have multiple students. Can you see the relationship now? Maybe GSC 201, you may have multiple students taking that course. A single course can have multiple students enroll in it. To present this relationship, you will create a junction object that let you call it enrollment. Then with master detail relationships to both students and course. That means student is a master, course is a master. Then the detail object that will be for both of them will now be what? Enrollment. So that the enrollment can actually carry the record of both courses and the students to relate it together. When you are now on the junction object, you can actually relate with the course as well relate with the student. You will know the number of students taking a particular course that have enrolled for a particular course and all the rest. This is a kind of scenario that you can use many-to-many to achieve. When you hear anything that has to do with many-to-many relationship, there must be a junction object that you need to establish in between the two objects at the end of the day. Then object can represent a specific student enrolled in a specific course. You can as well relate as many students to as many courses needed through record in the enrollment objects. Junction objects are very useful for modeling complex data relationship in Salesforce, especially when dealing with what? Many-to-many relationship. That is just it at that on that note that you have to know what is being referred to as many-to-many relationship. And apart from when you work at work, when you start working as Salesforce administrator, you might have a kind of assignment or responsibility to build many-to-many relationship, to establish a relationship that takes two different master subjects. It's all about building record, building relationship between two records that ordinarily they were not having anything in common in the past. But when there is something that is bringing them together that you need to assess on both objects, then you can establish a kind of relationship in between that will actually help you to carry out your activities comfortably without any problem. So that's just it. We've actually looked at this, and then we are all what we are doing now on the platform is to demonstrate all these things. Object Manager, Lightning App Builder. We have been working on Object Manager. We've not really done much on a Lightning App Builder, which we're going to as well do today. Look at it. We need to build our project tracker application today. You can see, you can get to know how it's been done, and object overview, schema builder. I'm also going to try to introduce you to schema builder. Schema builder can actually virtualize the relationship between your different objects. Even if you have 1 million objects with thousands of objects, let me exaggerate, thousands of objects, you can use schema builder to really give you the pictorial view of everything, how the lines, the one that is required, which is might be a master data relationship, is going to be a required like kind of red line. You will see it. It will just be like all these power line of a thing, a congested power line connecting one object to another. So schema builder is just a tool that can really help you to virtualize the relationship within the object. You can as well use it to create. You just drag different components. It has a canvas. You can drag objects. If you want to create an object, you can drag it to it that you want to create an object. You can use it to create objects. You can use it to establish relationship between the object that you use it to create. You can also use it to few different relationships that actually exist within your platform. Then we've actually discussed granting access using hierarchies, master data relationship. We've actually demonstrated that one in this course. Lookup relationship as well. We've created several fields. We've created so many fields, and we're still going to work. I'm also going to introduce another validation role now to you, how you can use a pick list to form a validation rule on our project as well today. Creating custom object record, testing our custom field, customizing page layout. We actually customize page layout. We build a new page layout for our different record type called installation and production on our project. All right, that's a wrap up for today's video. I hope you have picked up some valuable insights and actionable tips in Salesforce ecosystem. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Give this video a big thumb up. If you found it helpful, I'm Asikola Oshirikan, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.